بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is session 6 of our study on Sarf. Going back to our progress sheet, we said that we're touching upon Thulathi Mujarrad for a while, correct? So for a while we're only going to be touching upon those conjugation groups that are related to Thulathi Mujarrad. Okay, so over here we have the Maldi, Mudari, Amr, Nahi. Right now we're on the Maldi. We've done this so far. The Maldi, Ma'ruf, Musbit, or Isbat. Okay, this is what we've done. We've done the Fi'li Maldi, correct? We've done Fa'ala, and then we've done a verb in that scale, Nasra. And this is Ma'ruf. Ma'ruf means that the verb is such that we know the doer. Okay? And the opposite of that is Majhul. The verb is such that we don't know the doer, rather we know the object. So upon whom or upon what the action is done. And isbat or al-musbit, this is when the action, we are affirming the occurrence of the action. Okay, we are affirming the occurrence of the action in opposition to al-nafi or al-manfi, when we are actually negating the occurrence of the action. So we are affirming the occurrence of the action, and then the opposite of that is al-nafi or al-manfi, we are negating the occurrence of the action. So like we said, we're not going to touch upon certain discussions because we want to start Safatul Masadir as soon as possible. So we are only going to do those discussions for now that are needed to get into that book. Because Safatul Masadir mentions certain conjugation groups within the book, and we're only going to do those conjugation groups for now, and anything else other than that, we're going to leave for now and go back to it later on. Hence why we're going to leave this. Right, we're going to leave anything majhul based, so all of this is going to be left. And then we're going to do the ma'ruf of the mudari and the isbat or musbit. Okay, and this nafi is also going to be left, just like the nafi or manfi is left over here. Although it's really easy to make the nafi and manfi, we're still going to leave it for now. Anything majhul based is going to be left. Amr is going to be touched upon, does a ma'ruf, so that's going to be touched upon. Like I said, majhul based, anything majhul based is going to be left. Nahi is going to be touched upon, does a ma'ruf. Anything majhul based is going to be left. Ismu fa'il from al-asma al-mushtaqqa, the only thing that we're going to touch upon is ismu fa'il. Ismu fa'il is going to be touched upon. After we've done the ismu fa'il, we can start Safat al-Masadi. When we start Safat al-Masadi, we go back to all of these discussions that we've skipped. So the Madi, Ma'ruf, al-Nafi, or al-Manfi, and also the Mudari, Majhul, Musbit, and Manfi. Also the Madi, Majhul, Musbit, and Manfi. And the Amr, Majhul, the Nahi, Majhul, and then we'll carry on all of these. And like I said, the reason why we're doing this is because in Safat al-Masadi, you need to know the Madi, Ma'ruf, Musbit. You need to know the Mudari, Ma'ruf, Musbit. You need to know the Amr, Ma'ruf. You need to know the Nahi, Ma'ruf. And you also need to know the Ismul Fa'il. Okay, you also need to know Masdar, but we'll discuss Masdar when we get to that book, when you start that book. Hence why we're prioritizing these discussions. Otherwise, we would have gone in this order. And like I said before, these are all the conjugation groups for Thulathi Mujarrad. Majority of these are copied in the other categories. So Thulathi Mazid Fi, Ruba'i, Mujarrad, Ruba'i Mazid Fi will have most of these discussions, not all. Some of the the al-asma al-mushtaqqa, they're not in the other ones, some of them. But we're only going to touch upon Thulathi Mujarrad until we've finished this whole progress sheet. Okay, all of these discussions until we finished, we're only going to touch on Thulathi Mujarrad. Then we're going to go into the Thulathi Mazid Fi, and then we're going to go into the Ruba'i Mujarrad, and then we're going to go into the Ruba'i Mazid Fi. And this thing over here, don't worry about this. This will be explained later on. Okay, so right now in this session, we're going to cover the Mudari Ma'ruf, Isbat, or Musbit. Okay, remember, we've covered the Madi Ma'ruf, Isbat, or Musbit, and the Nafi we're going to leave, and the Majhul we're also going to skip. So the Mudari Ma'ruf, Musbit. Okay, let's do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Mudari using the Madi. So as you know, the scale for the Madi that we've touched upon is Fa'ala. Okay, Fa'ala, the first conjugation. So we're going to go from the first conjugation of the Madi to the first conjugation of the Mudari. These are a few notes over here. The first note is that we're still touching upon Thulathi Mujarrad as we mentioned just before. Okay, even though we're touching upon a different conjugation group, we're still touching upon Thulathi Mujarrad based verbs. The second note is this changing from fa'ala to this form yaf'alu, which is the fi'l mudari. This is changing the third person singular male form, which is the first conjugation. So the first conjugation of fi'l madi on this scale to the fi'l mudari. Okay, this is the first conjugation, right? Yaf'alu. There are 14 conjugations when it comes to the mudari, just like the madi. So just as there are 14 conjugations for the Madi, there are 14 conjugations for the Mudari also. You might be asking, why am I mentioning this? It's quite obvious. The reason why I'm saying this is because there's certain conjugation groups that we will touch upon later on that do not have 14 conjugations. They have less than 14. However, put that aside for now. We don't need to worry about that because just like the Madi had 14 conjugations, likewise the Mudari also has 14 conjugations. So we have that similarity here. Okay, how do you make this first conjugation, meaning the first conjugation of the fi'l madi to the first conjugation of the fi'l mudari on the scale? You add ya at the beginning. As you can see, this is an extra ya that's not there in the fi'l madi. So add ya to the beginning of the past tense form. So you have the past tense form, you add ya to it. Then what you do is you put the first conjugation on the scale of yaf'alu. Yaf'alu. So the difference over here, we have the three root letters, fa, ain, lam. Okay, but you could say the i'rab has been mixed up. The first letter, the fa, in the Madi is a fatha. Over here is a sakin. Does that make sense? The second letter, which is a ain, in the Madi is a fatha. In the Mudari is a fatha also. Okay, so there's no difference there. However, there is a difference on the lam. In the Madi is a fatha, in the Mudari is a dhamma. Okay, so you put it in this case, yaf'alu. So fa'ala is the fi'l madi and yaf'alu is the fi'l mudari. Okay, this is how the difference would look. Okay, this is how the difference would look. If you were to put both side by side, it would be like this. So we already have learnt the fa'ala pattern, correct? The 14 conjugations for fa'ala we've learnt. So this is the fi'l mudari. يفعل يفعلان يفعلون تفعل تفعلان يفعلن تفعل تفعلان تفعلون تفعلين تفعلان تفعلن أفعل نفعل. You see the difference over here. The first thing you notice is that every single conjugation in the fi'l mudari will have either a ya or a ta or a hamza or a noon in the beginning that's not in the fi'l madi. In the fi'l madi, every single conjugation starts with the root letter, the beginning letter, right? The first root letter, which is fa. But in the fi'l mudari, you have an additional letter, okay, whether that letter is a ya, a ta, hamza, or noon, which is not on the fi'l madi. Okay, this is the first thing that you notice. We're not going to actually learn formally the rules for going from one conjugation to another conjugation, meaning from the fi'l madi to fi'l mudari. We're not going to do it formally because look at the rules. The rules, just reading this is going to, make you confused. It's going to put you off. Hence why we're just going to learn the pattern. The pattern will teach you how to change from fi'l madi to fi'l mudari. That will suffice. You don't need to formally learn all of these rules. Okay, in my opinion, just learning the pattern will do. It's like tajweed, right? Tajweed, yeah, you learn the rules, okay, at first, but even if you did, even though you shouldn't, even though if you did forget the rules later on, because you're so used to tajweed, you still implement them. They will still be there in application. Likewise, over here, I want to get you guys so used to the patterns that the application of these rules are still there, even if you don't know them formally. Because just learning this is going to put you off, okay? But we will mention one rule from the rules mentioned over here, and that's the rule of Athena. Okay, the rule of Athena. What is the rule of Athena? Okay, like we mentioned before, the fi'l mudari will have one of these letters at the beginning that isn't there in the fi'l madi. So either hamza, ta, ya, or noon. This rule is called the rule of Athena. Athena, Athena. Okay, add one of the letters of Athena that are counted as the signs of the mudari at the beginning of the verb. So one of these letters of Athena, the reason why it's called Athena is because it's made off of a Hamza, Ata, Ya, and Nun, this word. So the conjugation will have one of these letters. Depending upon the conjugation, will depend upon which letter it has. So like we said, we have 14 conjugations. Depending upon the conjugation will depend upon which letter it has. So you can either have a Hamza, Ta, Ya, or Nun. I think this is a yeah, let's put this away. I've made it easy by color coding what letter okay will be in which conjugation. Okay, so when it comes to Hamza from the letters of Athena, only one conjugation will have Hamza, which is the 13th conjugation. The 13th conjugation will have Hamza, which is the conjugation over here. This is the 13th conjugation, af'alu. So as you can see, okay, before the root letters, fa, ain, lam, there's this Hamza, okay, from the letters of Athena. When it comes to the letter ta, we have the fourth and seventh conjugation. The reason why I put it in one box is because the form is the same. Okay, for both conjugations, the form is the same. So the fourth conjugation is this one, right? And the seventh conjugation is this one. So as you can see, the form is the same, even though the definition is different. So these will have a ta in the beginning, as you can see, there's a ta in the beginning. Also, the fifth, eighth, and 11th conjugation. So let's count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and 11th, right? All of these have the same form but different definitions. Because they have the same form, I put it in one box. So fifth, eighth, and 11th, taf'alani will have a ta at the beginning. Then we have the ninth conjugation, taf'aluna, which is this. Yeah, ninth conjugation, taf'alun will have a ta in the beginning. Then we have the conjugation after that, taf'alina. Okay, taf'alina over here will have a ta at the beginning. Then we have the 12th conjugation, taf'alna will also have a ta. So we have one out of the 14 conjugations having a hamza. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 conjugations having a ta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, just making sure. And then ya, how many conjugations will have a ya at the beginning? We have the first conjugation, yaf'alu. This is the first conjugation. Then we have the second conjugation, also will have a ya at the beginning, yaf'alani. And the third conjugation will also have a ya at the beginning, yaf'aluna. Okay. And also the sixth conjugation, yaf'alna, will also have a ya. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 4. Okay. And only one conjugation will have a noon, which is the last conjugation, the 14th conjugation will have a noon. Does that make sense? What I'll do is, because I colored all of these accordingly, I'll, you know, make sure this is also colored. Naf'alu will also have, one of the letters, right, which is the letter noon, the beginning. Okay. That's 1. So if you count 1 at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So all conjugations have been included here. So these conjugations will have one of the letters of Athena. Okay, depending upon what conjugation it is, will depend upon what letter it has from the letters of Athena. That makes sense? What I need you guys to learn is the fi'l mudari, 14 conjugations. The way you learn it is read it and then learn it off by heart altogether first. So يفعل يفعلان يفعلون تفعل تفعلان يفعلن تفعل تفعلان تفعلون تفعلين تفعلان تفعلن أفعل نفعل. Then do it with the translation. Yaf'alu, he one man is doing will do. Yaf'alani, they two men are doing will do. Yaf'aluna, they all men are doing will do. Taf'alu, she one woman is doing will do. Taf'alani, they two women are doing will do. Yaf'alna, they all women are doing will do. Taf'alu, you one man are doing will do. Taf'alani, you two men are doing will do. Taf'aluna, you all men are doing will do. Taf'alina, you one woman are doing will do. Taf'alani, you two women are doing will do. Taf'alna, you all women are doing will do. Af'alu, I one man or one woman am doing will do. Naf'alu, we all men or women are doing will do. So you do it all together first. Yaf'alu, yaf'alani, yaf'aluna to the end. Then you go back, start again with the translation. Is that understood?
نصرا نصرا نصروا نصرات نصرتا نصرنا نصرتا نصرتم نصرتما
Nasau
نصرتم
Nasautuma first, right? And then Nasauta.
نصرتما نصرتم نصرتي نصرتما نصرتن نصرت نصرنا
Yeah.
نصرا he one man help نصرا they two man help نصروا they all man help نصرات she one woman help نصارتا they two women help نصار نصارنا they all women help نصارتا you one man help نصار نصارتما you two man help نصرتم you all man help نصرتي you one woman help نصرتما you two women help نصرتن you all women help نصرت I one man slash woman help and نصرنا we all man slash woman help
Nasoro he one man helped. Nasoro they two men helped. Nasoru they all men helped. Nasorot she one woman helped. Nasorota they two women helped. Nasorna they all women helped. Nasorta he you one man helped. Nasortuma you two men helped. Nasortum you all men helped. Nasorti you one woman helped. Nasortuma you two women helped. Nasortunna you all women helped. Nasortu I man or woman helped. Nasorna we men or women helped.